Video is up.
All right, good.
Hell yeah. All right, let's go.
All right. Can you guys see? You should be able to see the Twitter account of Splinterlands. Is that the case? If it is, please say yes in the stream chat. And if we sound good, please say yes again. That's it.
Two
Cool.
yeses. All right.
All right. Well, sorry about that. It took us 5 minutes, 10 minutes. That's the usual time it takes us to figure this
That's
stuff
right.
out.
That's right.
I
That's
can't.
how you. That's how you know we're real humans, dude. There's nothing fake about this production, dude. It's all real chat. All right.
Oh, awesome. So the way we do this, guys, for those that are new that's watching this, first of all, welcome to everyone. There seems to be a healthy 10, 15, looks like there's about 30 people in the voice chat kind of watching this. A lot of people from Splinterlands, so thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
How to see that video?
After the chats for all you Splinterland community members, dude. I love to see
So,
that.
yeah, Bob K or Boop K is asking how to see it, how to see the video. If you click Cypher Will on the top, you should be able to see it. Awesome. Yeah, so normally what we do, and we've kind of been slacking because it's been Moon Boy days again, and all of us have been glued to the crypto charts. We usually do every week, we do 1 or 2 game reviews. And traditionally, we focused on Ethereum just because, well, I live in a bubble, especially an Ethereum one. So whatever's
Same
come on
here.
my radar has always been ETH stuff, right?
Yeah. Shit, we're in an even tighter bubble these days. We're like in a Decentraland bubble, but
Yeah.
this is why we're doing this. We're broadening our perspective of things. There's a big world out there. You know what I mean? And we can't tunnel vision too tightly. That's how you miss out on opportunity. So
That's right.
this one just fell into our lap. So here we go. We're gonna see what it's all about.
Yeah, it's true. It's also like we have to definitely respect other projects building on the space as well. And I think,
Yeah,
for some
especially
reason,
blockchains, right?
yeah, blockchains in general. So in this one, we're going to be going through Splinterlands, which I've seen around and about over the last year and a half or maybe 2 years. So they've definitely been around for a while. So props to them for keeping on building. And normally what we do, we just run through some of the tabs, like the community, the project, what it is, gameplay and all that. We kind of open it up we test it a little bit, but at the end of the day, like our 2 or 3 days of testing isn't going to compensate for people or the real gamers of this project. So at the end of our 10 to 15 minute spiel, we're going to open this up for Agrod, the founder, or any community member who wants to jump on and tell us a little bit more about the project. But we had Iman and Will play a little bit. What do you guys think?
So
immediately I got I don't know if you guys are familiar with the two titles, like team fight tactics and auto chess. I got like a vibe right away from that. It's I think there's a genre that they group all of these types of games into called auto battle. So
what's the game? Like, if we just explain what the game is to people, is it a TCG purely?
Well, I think in the element of where you're collecting your, I guess they call them monsters, but think of them as like they're basically like a Pokemon, a card. You know, the card or the NFT represents this monster, and they all have attributes and attack points, defense points, whatever. Hopefully, someone will explain it more in depth.
Mana. They have mana.
Actual
like Yu-Gi-Oh. Reminds me of Yu-Gi-Oh a bit.
Exactly. Each card is a different monster. They do different things. They're all badass in their own right? So you, as a collector of these monsters, have to, whenever you engage in battle, you need to tactically decide, the arrangement of them, what classes do you want to deploy, stuff like that. And then once I think you have a couple minutes to come up with this game plan, essentially, and then they enter the battlefield at that point once your time runs out, or once you accept, you're ready to go. And then what happens from there is completely out of your control. You know what I mean? You don't actually engage in the combat as a player. You know what I mean?
Auto battles for you.
Yeah, hence the name auto battle. yeah.
So it's kind of like you set your strategy at the start.
Yeah, you see that?
I've got a video up on YouTube. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, we can see it.
So is this like the phase where you're setting up your cards?
Yeah, so at the very beginning of a match, they show you a little bit of information about your opponent and what sorts of cards he's used in the past. And so it gives you a chance to kind of strategize as to how you're going to take your opponent down. And so then right before the match starts, you're allowed to choose a different set of cards. And I think there's a limit
there's a mana cap.
There's a mana cap, exactly.
Which you can see it right there on the screen, that 17 with the blue circle. I think it froze, or you're lagging.
No, he's going to the next, like he's playing the game now.
Yeah, but there's a mana cap, so you have to kind of like manage that mana, right? So you don't overspend, I guess. And
so I'll put some comments here that I'm going to quickly comment out. So it's important to note you can see what your opponent has played in the last 5 battles.
That's right.
So I guess there's a strategy of doing a bit of research. This is pretty much like Dota. I don't know. It just gives me like some serious proper gameplay mechanics where it's kind of like this universe built around the game.
Yeah.
Well, it's important to note that Dota, the team fight auto chess, I think, was a mini game spawned from the Dota 2, mod universe. It was a mini game within Dota 2. So it makes sense like that. This model is like it brings back nostalgia of Dota. Did you used to play Dota? I'm imagining you did, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. So that's why it feels familiar to you, right?
So each game has a random mana cap and random extra rules. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
A random mana cap makes it more exciting because you got to keep changing your strategy.
Oh, I didn't know it was random. That's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Justin is asking what chain is this on. So we're going to go through that. It used to be, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys. It used to be on the Steam blockchain, and they transitioned into the Hive blockchain. So I initially thought it's probably because of the Justin Sun thing.
Yeah. Right.
So hide floating video controls. Where are we? Yeah, I initially thought it was because of the Justin Sun thing, but I think they're pretty clear that the move was because the Hive blockchain is certainly not perfect. Oh, wait. Something about the Steam infrastructure not being as good and the Hive being a bit better. And that's why they've made the move.
Yeah.
But it looks like they had a community. I don't know how much of the community supported this move or didn't support this move. I know it was a very tense moment for any project living on Steam, especially when that happened. So I don't know.
But ultimately,
they're working fine.
Yeah, I'm sure the benefits outweighed the cons, right? In the sense that Hive is a much more scalable platform from what I've heard, more cheaper transactions, everything we kind of hope and desire Ethereum ends up being with this ETH 2.0 launch, you know what I mean? Coming up very soon. So as a game developer, you gotta kind of make these executive decisions, do I want my game to suffer as a result of us being, blockchain non-agnostic, I guess blockchain maximalism? Or do I want to adapt and like actually see what's, there's new blockchains offering, a more friendly user experience. So do I, adopt that technology and risk losing, whatever network effect Ethereum has? So these guys took that risk. Hopefully it paid off for them. I'm pretty sure the game is better than what it was when it was on, the Ethereum network. Mm-hmm. But maybe when we get a community member, hopefully they'll
later, like after 5-10 minutes. Actually, this is going to end in like 8 minutes. I'll have to restart it because I've got the 40-minute limit for some reason.
Okay.
Even though I've got the upgrade, for some reason it doesn't pick it up on my freaking account. Anyway, we'll restart that. There's no problem in about 5 minutes. But so for those people that I don't know how many people here are into dApps or like games on Ethereum or projects on Ethereum, NFT ones or whatever. But basically, Ethereum's kind of got the bulk of the volume. Like that's kind of got, the big collectors that collect art, the big people that play games. Like when people run pre-sales in ETH, they've usually done pretty well. And I don't know how other ones have done because I haven't been able to compare. I know Wax raises like $100,000 or $200,000 on like their initial launches for their games. But obviously ETH has its issues with the gas fees and like having gameplay on chain is just not sustainable just because it's so damn expensive. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's why like projects like Steam and I guess Hive, etc., are definitely more suited. But how it's interesting, it'll be good to talk to the community and the founder as to like how it affected the amount of users. At the end of the day, like I checked the user base in terms of jumping into Discord and seeing, is there a conversation happening? Is there a live trading channel, etc.? Because those sort of indicators means that there's people constantly talking about it, right? And it was like, it was pretty active. So there's definitely a game here in existence doing pretty damn well in terms of at least the gameplay.
Yeah,
And it's not on ETH, so that kind of puts my inner ETH maxi.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's been other instances that I've witnessed myself, like other very well made games that are seem like they're prioritizing other blockchains. Like I said, it's like an executive decision at this point. You gotta kind of like that's a big barrier to entry for a lot if you're trying to actually tackle like a mainstream audience, right? Like you don't want to have them deal with all the same complications that us Ethereum boys deal with on the daily. You know what
Exactly.
I mean? So it's important.
I mean, yeah, Ethereum games aren't fun in the sense of gameplay. That's why we haven't actually seen any come out with gameplay. We got the investment side of things there. Everyone's jumping in and buying stuff, but
Yeah.
is there any games that are working on ETH apart from Axie, which is like the gameplay isn't on chain?
Yeah,
And
there's
they
all the
use Boom
games
Network.
on ETH are not on chain, so it's server based games, but they have the assets on chain, and then that's where it gets expensive.
Yeah. So going through like a quick skim of the website and like what's currently already there. I mean, looks like gameplay is well on its way. You can continue to buy cards. There's also like tournaments and guilds, and I thought that was pretty cool, where it had like different guilds where you can join and be like part of a group, and then they've got their ranking and tournaments. Looks like it's a monthly thing. Okay, quite a lot of guilds, ratings, and yeah, I mean it's a pretty healthy kind of look to the
Yeah.
evolution of what the game has become, right?
Man, the guilds
Exactly.
are full.
Just like
Look at
from
that.
a standalone like game incentive perspective, like just having like such a well-designed leaderboard with like plenty of activity is enough incentive as far as like if you're a gamer just to like want to compete, you know, like as if everybody who plays games wants to be the best, right? So if there's like a nice leaderboard there representing who is the best at this time, and they have like nice little seasons established that I'm not sure how long these seasons last, but the fact that there's like an actual monetary, reward, I guess, for competing is something that's like the new element that these games are introducing, right? Before you just were competing for the e-glory, for being the best at whatever game it is you're competing at. But so the whole play to earn element is what fascinates me most, interests me, and I think that as a blockchain gamer, I'm sure that's what fascinates you as well.
I think that's the new element that's added into gaming is the play to earn aspect, because like you're saying, if you're playing a game and it's just a generic game, it's for the e-glory, but in this case it's for the currency, the cryptocurrency. So I think that adds a whole element of focus for any of these players to be the best, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Without
Exactly.
that, it's like it's no different than any other game, which kind of defeats the purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
Boys, I'm going to just restart the Zoom.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to end this Zoom, and then we'll just join with another link, and we'll jump back in.
Okay. BRB.
All right.
BRB, guys.
Hello.
We're back.
All right, we're back. Just waiting on the general.
All right. And let me see. Do I need to share again?
All right, hold up. Give us another couple minutes, guys. We're going to figure this out. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yes,
hear.
sir.
Oh man, so this game has a land sale too?
Uh-oh. No, somebody said hearing some feedback again.
Okay.
Okay, so this is okay, Stever. We got to get you in here, dog.
Yeah, for real.
You know a lot about this, a lot more than us. All right, would you want to hop on the chat, bro? Or maybe if not, we could have a back and forth discussion this way. But
Sorry, guys, I missed all of that because my freaking mic stopped working again.
okay, man.
All right, so that's that. Now I have to just. Who was it? So now I'm going to share my screen, and then Will, I think you share it to Discord, right?
Okay, I'll share it.
Okay, hold up. Let me share my screen first. All right, hopefully you can see that.
Okay.
Yep, looks good.
Let me share my screen here.
So this is interesting. This just this tournament page you just loaded up. Each one has its own prize pool.
Can you guys hear? Wait, oh, you're still in the thing, right, Iman? So you and Will are still in Discord.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, sweet. Okay, we can hear everyone. You can see the screen?
Yes, sir. Screen is good.
Sweet. Sorry for the 2-minute delay. So what were we talking about? We were just talking about the
I guess trying to understand the play to earn mechanics, but some interesting things have been brought up since our absence. Apparently, there's a land sale that's already happened and another one coming up. Which
So
is fucking, yeah.
I like the land sale model. I like the land sale model where it makes sense. Where like there's a reason to have land next to each other, or there's like, there's either you walk to each other's lands, or like, I'm not sure exactly how it works in this case. But yeah, some games you got separate games happening in different lands, and it just doesn't make sense for the land sale. So like a land model, right?
Yeah. So what does it mean with this land? What's coming? What's to be built on this land? Do we know yet?
I don't know. That's the thing. I'm going to bring someone on. But really quickly, what I wanted to mention was the sales. So let's quickly just go through a couple of points, and then we'll just bring on the community.
Okay.
I think they're going to take this to the level where it needs to be.
Yeah, it's up to you guys now to blow our minds once you guys hop on.
So one thing I wanted to mention is that these guys are active on mobile phone, which I thought was pretty cool. So
of course that's
important.
cool. That's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing where projects don't really have a mobile phone application yet, I think. If you're a game in the space and you're only working on desktop, I think that's like 20% of the traffic. Most people are on their phone all the time.
Yeah, if you're looking for investable projects, right? That definitely should be one of the core tenets. Maybe not core, but like something you want to be mindful of, right? Your potential demographic, and if you're missing out on the mobile market, that's a pretty big red flag, wouldn't you think?
Totally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, big time.
Thanks for confirming. I wasn't sure. Okay.
I just had Agro saying, that players can buy land and then they can harvest, craft, transport, refine, and trade. They'll make items and spells that will be used in a second round of combat, rented to other players and sold. Dang. Intense.
So there's a huge incentive to get land, so you can harvest, craft, transport, and refine and trade. Okay, cool. Yeah.
So Agro, we're going to bring you on like in 2 minutes, but I just quickly wanted to touch upon the volume. And I used to be really, really critical of projects that don't do much volume, or much volume meaning, wait, you guys can, I don't think they can see your faces. 1 second.
They can't see our faces? Oh no. And what's the point, dude?
No, I think
Oh, they can see it. They can see
it.
it.
Video panel. Never mind. I hid it for myself.
Yeah. No, they can see
Oh,
it.
they can't see you. Oh, we got to see Maddie, dude.
Yeah.
Just in case the cat pops up, right?
Yeah, there you go. There he is.
Where is that cat, dude?
I don't know. Sleeping downstairs, luckily. Yeah, I just wanted to quickly go through the volume, and for the last 30 days, they have done 21,000 USD, which is good to see.
Yeah.
So my mentality, and I'm very critical of this, and just quickly for 1 minute, is I'm very critical on 21K is just on ETH. Ooh, okay. Agrid schooling me there, so there must be more volume. But what I wanted to say is I'm very critical of projects that have volume when they're the first launch, because when they first launch, they have a pre-sale. It's a no-brainer. Of course, you're going to have volume. Because, all right, you can attract, say, hundreds of ETH, you can top the charts. And then what normally happens is 3 months later, these NFT projects, they disappear, and then they become nothing, just because they can't sustain themselves for 1 or 2 years. So a big win for me, and a reason why I kind of start talking about other projects, is when they've lasted 1 or 2 years, and they still have sales on the secondary market volume, pre-sale or secondary, whatever it is, but they still have interest 2-3 years down the track. So in this case, Splinterland checks those boxes, even though it's on another chain, which is impressive to see, that it still has volume coming in, and people, and at the end of the day, people might not be buying and selling cards or assets as much, but if there's still a healthy gameplay and user base happening, I think that is the main thing. I don't think it is important for there to be a healthy economy now, because there's no user base in most of these games. You focus on the user base, you grow the user base. Once you're at thousands, tens of thousands of users, the economy is going to sort itself out.
Yeah, that's very important. That the proof of longevity, I guess, that's what I would call that. They've proven, I guess, for being in operation for more than a couple of years, and they're still showing signs of. Obviously, there's signs of progress where there's new features, new products that are being released. You guys are letting us know of that, which is all of it sounds exciting to me as an outsider. Just off of what I've witnessed from the rest of the NFT space. This project is 100% operating on the same wavelength that successful projects are operating on. You know what I mean?
I think that's the most critical thing about any project is the sustainability, and like Agrid is saying, the last 4 months have 100 to 200K in volume on Hive based on market, and then between 100 and 250 individual per month. That's a lot, man.
That's significant.
Yeah.
Is that per month? So 100 and 200,000 USD per month? That's quite a lot.
We got spenders here, Stever.
Yeah, we spend. So that's good. It's good because, so Stever, why do you spend? Do you spend because the game itself is worth spending on, or do you actually envision your assets to appreciate? Okay, earn it back pretty fast. There you go. You just answered my question. So it's
Open
working.
NFT plays the game.
Oh, that's awesome.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Open. Do you play Splinterlands? Guess not.
He said I spent thousands on there, so he must, unless he's just an investor, unless he's just stocking up on assets.
Has old YouTube videos. Maybe Open was a Splinterlands guy before DCL.
OG? Yeah, maybe. Okay. So, yeah, we know Open from DCL. That's why we're directly interacting.
Connected. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's cool. Any other critical things we want to speak of? I guess. So
normally we're really
do you have any info? Do you have any info on as far as the team behind this project, or is that not necessarily necessary? Since
normally
we have a team member here.
Yeah, normally I talk about the team, but I think it's not necessary.
Okay.
We got the fun here anyway. But yeah, we're normally very critical on projects that we review, because I made it very clear with we're all kind of the same mind, right? We don't just talk about projects and say how good they are. We talk about what is the shit thing of what's the risks here. But this is what do you guys want to talk about here? I can see a good game built on blockchain, building a user base, people are spending, it's advancing. I can't really see. I don't know. I can't see.
Well, what about the potential dilution of the actual cards and their value, in the sense that if you just make more cards, what happens to the player base? I mean, do they get disgruntled, or do they collect more because there's a different incentive mechanism to collect more cards? I think any blockchain game has to deal with that. Even any game that's being created in Decentraland, same thing. It's like, how do you manage the actual assets that you're creating that are supposed to be rare, or to some degree, scarce, and then how do you sustain yourself if part of your income or your return on investment is creating more of the same assets? It's like that's something that I guess every founder, every creator has to think about.
Yeah, I see what
you got a lot of replies from that inquiry, dude.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll bring one of the team people on.
So I see the cards have limited print number. It must be combined to level up, making them more scarce. That's pretty interesting. So they're combined to level up. Pack opening is great. Yeah, the deflationary aspect combining cards is actually pretty amazing. So there's deflation here. Okay.
All right, I think at this point we need to get aggroed on. So one quick thing is I see an 8.4 highest ETH sale. That's pretty cool on OpenSea. And that's all from me. I think we better add some community members so they can tell us about the mechanics and exactly how this thing works.
Person to talk to than you then.
Well, I do like the idea of talking to the players, because they're far more strategic than I am at this point. But I can definitely give you a big overview of why we're doing the land, how the game kind of works, why we went with an auto battler style and like a 3-minute combat. I can talk about how we combine cards and shrink supply that way, how we introduce new series and the methodology behind that. So
yeah, see, that's the stuff we normally cover, but in this case, just because it's kind of out of our depth, right? This is something that I think you'd be best in just telling us about, why the mechanics are there and why the land play is coming up, and just the community sentiment so far, and then we can get some community member in here and tell us more.
That sounds great. So Splinterlands is a trading card game, and we always wanted people to come into crypto. My partner Matt, who is a 30-year dev, and I, we just love crypto, and we think that it's a really wonderful tool to give people, personal sovereignty, economic decisions, can protect freedom of speech and economic liberty. It's really powerful. And so we want more people in the blockchain, and we just didn't think that high finance was going to do it. There might be tons of money from high finance, but you're not going to get mainstream adoption just because you can speculate on tokens. There's got to be more than that. So Matt and I thought that the best way to get people in would be by building a game. And we also really liked the game because we come from Magic and Hearthstone particularly. And those games are frustrating because you can't own the assets, or you can't ever since it went digital. Once it went digital, then all bets are off. You can't own anything, and it's really frustrating. So when I played, I spent $300 and I stopped playing, and now that money's gone. Whereas when you have NFTs and you actually own the assets, now you actually have ownership and control so that you can move the cards, sell them, interact with the market, rent cards. Renting cards is kind of a big deal about what we do here. So there's a lot of different options that the players have because these are tokens. So we really like that aspect. It also, it's just a digital game instead of a physical game. So that means you can play 24/7. And then by doing blockchain, you can actually kind of allow the players to earn. So you've been on that tournament screen. We've given out over 150,000, getting close to $200,000 in prizes to the players. I mean, I think that's pretty good for a game. So we do mint new additions. It's kind of funky. It's this weird balance of we want new players and we want to reward old players. So what we do is we'll for each edition we'll set a total number of packs available, and we'll say we're not going to print any more packs than that. So within the pack, each card can have whatever distribution of cards you're going to get. But once we're sold out of packs, there's just no new way to mint alpha cards or beta cards or any of the other editions that we do. So those can have whatever prices that the players and the secondary markets deem. For us, though, with the new cards, we don't, it is on one hand absolutely astounding and fantastic. Games like Axie have $96,000 cards that sell, and there is a lot of really cool aspects to that. but it also gets to like, is that now out of reach of your normal player? So like introducing new people into that ecosystem, if like the table stakes start getting up into the tens of thousands or much higher, it's hard to envision how you get new people to join and mainstream this game and let everybody experience it. So we'll mint new editions, but then we always cap how many cards are allowed. And then the other piece of the game is that you shrink the cards down. So if you click on one of those cards, maybe the dwarf there in the bottom right, the 5 mana cost dwarf. This is one of my. That's a cobalt. Click that, please, and then click on stats in the top right. A little bit more to the. There we go. So when you look at this, what we've done is we made it so that when you double your rank, you can quadruple your rewards. It's not perfectly like that, but it's roughly that. And one of the ways that you can increase your rank is by winning matches, and it's easier to win matches if your cards are really strong. So one of the ways that you can level your cards is by combining duplicates. So this is normally in like a pack of Magic, the cards are wasted, right? You have 3 cards that you want, 9 cards that are trash. But in our game, all of those extra cards aren't really extras. Those duplicates get smushed together to make higher level cards. So in this case, this is a beta card, or it's a reward card with a beta leveling guide. It's the Exploding Dwarf, and you have to combine up to 505 of them in order to get to a max level. And when you do that, the melee attack goes up, the speed goes up, armor and health stay the same, but you start unlocking all these new abilities. So by building this, yes, we're inflating the supply of cards, but you're also shrinking them drastically. So we have this idea that there has to be some level of scarcity, and there's nothing like dividing the total supply of cards by 505 to get pretty scarce in any given edition. So when we print these editions, we basically say, okay, only like 300 to 400 people should be able to actually make like a fully maxed deck of all the cards. And that will scale as we keep growing. We always want to make sure that the number of people that can achieve the perfect high level max cards is always fewer than the gamers in the ecosystem, because that's part of how you drive demand. But for us, there's not quite a fixed supply of cards. It's more like, as we sell out of editions, the players know that basically once a year, maybe a little bit longer, maybe a little bit less, depending on bull markets and bear markets and all the other stuff. But we target about once a year, we want to release a new set of cards. And that's a way that the older cards that are out of print have a chance to find their value. And the newer cards they're still accessible. It's still just $2 a pack to get in. So that's kind of like the big picture economics for the game.
So what happens with all those cards that get combined? Like technically, what happens to the NFT?
So they're it's probably a better question for my partner, because I don't want to get technical things wrong. I'm not the dev, but basically they're taken out of the circulating supply.
Okay.
So they're no longer usable. It's a one-way transition, so you can't undo it. As those cards are shrunk, that's it. So I put in. If you look in the chat, there's a chart here of what we call decimation, and it's how many cards are either burned or squished together. And you can see that there's typically a spike as new card editions are released, and then over time they decay. So I'll give you an example. That's the chart I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The alpha cards, we had 300,000 packs, and of those 300,000 packs, each pack had 5 cards, so a max of 1.5 million cards available. And because of all the squishing that the players do, there's now 288,000 cards left, which means that 80% of the supply of alpha has already been squished into more powerful cards. And that way, the players do that because they want more powerful cards to win the matches so that they earn more when they're fighting each other. So that's a kind of whole economy around putting out new packs, and why the players want to combine them to rank up, so that in their season rewards, their quests, now they can start getting free access to tournaments instead of paid access to tournaments. So there's all these kind of like little gamified gateways where as you advance, you're able to earn more and actually be able to spend less.
Yeah, that's what I like about
Are these
blockchain games is that you have to come up with like an economy, because essentially if your player base expands so much, then all you have to do is just add a new level to the cards, and instead of 505, you need 1,500 cards to get to level 11, and then that's how you kind of balance, the power if there's so many players, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, the main way that we balance that is by really carefully going over the cards and the abilities, but we cap it, right? We don't want when you get up to like 1,500, that starts being like we're worried about pricing people out. Already we get concerns that the card decks are too expensive and things like that. So if you go up to 1,500 copies per card, that could, we want this game is a combination of proof of stake, it's proof of skill, and proof of time. So there's no way of getting around the fact that like you have to have a nice quality deck if you want to get maximum rewards. Sure. And we're upfront about that. But we also don't want it to be the case where like, you need a minimum $100,000 buy-in and you're not allowed to play or earn. So there's some kind of common ground here where we're trying to find a balance between, not over rewarding players that have put nothing into the game, but not making it so onerous that like, average human beings that are not crypto gods can't like partake.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's really important, because for me, I didn't think crypto games would ever take off, just because people there that want to make money, and then there's someone trying to, like a founder trying to create, a game that's good in terms of gameplay. So I was like, well, how do you balance the investor mindset, the speculator mindset, with the game playing user base? And how would that not be priced out? Like how would speculators not just buy up all like the Genesis rare cards and then just make it a stupid price point that new people can't join in?
Well, we've seen some of that in other games, right? But by issuing new packs and having the cards with new abilities, we're not like copying the previous stuff. We make new stuff, and we don't do power creep because that's not fair to the older investors. So this is sort of the balance that we've come to of. We don't introduce new packs all the time, but once a year we introduce a new series. The players are typically pretty excited about it, and that way the older cards can in fact go up or change price, or the market can do whatever they want. But there's always some much more inexpensive way that new players can buy in.
Yeah.
No, it's really cool, man.
It's really important too to like kind of address like how. I guess like the certainty behind what you guys are I guess we'll call it minting, but like if you compare this to like what like a Pokemon company does, if you guys aren't aware, there's like a major boom going on in that Pokemon economy where people are speculative investors now. Essentially, they become crypto moon boys in the Pokemon ecosystem. People are speculating. They're buying sealed packages of Pokemon products with the expectation that in the future these are going to go up in value, not even realizing that the Pokemon company itself has 100% rights to just reprint whatever they want. Whatever you're holding can get printed at any point in time in the future. All of a sudden you're holding something, the circulating supply of it just doubled overnight. So it's really, 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 really important that people understand like that once you're investing in crypto assets like these NFT assets, you can sleep well at night when you own them, because what the cap supply is of all these things, and they don't get adjusted. I
don't think we even know the cap supply of the physical Pokemon cards and stuff, do we?
I don't think so.
Charizards in circulation, all that stuff.
And you also have some of the risks of like counterfeiting. So one of the things that I've noticed about the old games is that like they're always about how do we siphon as much money out of the players as possible. And for us, our number one question, when Matt and I get together and we're like, all right, we're going to make changes to the game, we always are asking ourselves, how do we provide as much value to the players as possible? And that's part of the impetus for the whole land thing that we're doing. So like never in my gaming career did Magic the Gathering ever come to me and be like, hey, Aggie, we're tired of making all this money printing cards. We want you to do it instead. And in fact, for some of the tournaments that the players started making where they could print older versions, they knew they were counterfeit, but they weren't like selling them. It was just for specialized tournaments. That all got shut down. They didn't want anybody doing anything like that. And for us, the land is really a way that we said in our game, we want more strategy than what's already here. It's already there's already a lot in the sort of blind draft, but we also want it where both teams can see each other, and then do a second round of combat with items and spells. And when we determined that we were going to add items and spells, we said, well, how are we going to get them in the hands of players? And that's where this whole land piece came from, because we wanted to give the players the ability to mint the cards. Like the core aspect of our business, the way that we've been able to operate. We've generated millions of dollars by selling cards, and on the secondary market, those cards are worth just shy of $6 million or $7 million, depending on how you count it. But we wanted to give that very power to the players. So that's why we're doing this land expansion of, we want items and spells, and we want the players to be the ones with the authority to mint them. And that's why, in the first pre-sale of land, we sold out in 21 seconds. And we're doing a big discount. You can see it's a 40% discount, because it's more like a Kickstarter where we don't have all of it worked out yet. And we're doing this as trying to get the funding so that we can build it. But we want to put this power in the hands of the players. We want them to mint the cards, and we can't think of anything that's more hardcore crypto than that.
Yeah, totally agree. Especially the whole funding this with the land sale. That's like a common way of blockchain games are starting to use is the funding with land, and we see that all the time in Decentraland as well. Is like everyone's trying to figure out how to fund creations, and I think the land is probably the most common and most easily understood method. So yeah, it's really smart, especially in the whole 40% off, because a lot of the times it's like you're creating something, but you don't know exactly how it's going to work, especially when everybody gets their hands on it. So yeah, this is really smart.
What's your experience with the Hive blockchain, Agro?
So when we first started, if we had an interview like this, people would ask us a question in one way or another, and it would always be something like, sometimes it was polite and sometimes it was rude, but it was generally, why did you idiots move to Hive or Steam instead of building on Ethereum? And in my eyes, we definitely are on the shoulders of giants. We wouldn't exist if Vitalik hadn't created Ethereum. We wouldn't exist if Dapper Labs and CryptoKitties hadn't come out and shown what was possible with NFTs. But when we looked at that, we said, our long-term goal is mainstream adoption. And one of the biggest problems with Ethereum is that you have to own crypto first before you're able to do transactions, which means that the ask to get a player to start isn't come into our game and start playing. It's go to Coinbase, purchase Ethereum, get MetaMask, transfer it to MetaMask, and then transfer it into game. Like, that's a lot of steps, especially for somebody that's new to crypto. And Hive is a freemium blockchain. And because it's freemium, we're able to just start with a email and a password, and players don't have to know anything about blockchain or even know that it's a blockchain game, and they can just start playing. And then over time, they start saying stuff like, oh, well, this is cool. I earned a bunch of money doing this. Or, hey, I was able to sell my cards. That's cool. And they might not even realize that that's all tied to the blockchain aspect.
Right.
The last thing is that the entire game is on chain, and we're doing about 500 to 600,000 transactions on chain per day, which on Ethereum would be totally unsustainable. And and on top of that, it's you said it's not fun. Like, look, you could build a really cool game, but the second that every single thing that you want to do has like anywhere from a penny to maybe as high as $70 of a transaction fee to do something, like, that gets really tedious really quickly. So I'm excited for Ethereum 2.0. Maybe that can solve some problems. But for us, as we were thinking, we definitely could have raised more money being on Ethereum if we just started there, but we couldn't get the mainstream adoption that we really want to get, because we want more people in crypto. And so we like this Hive model, where it's a freemium, and we could it's like a Web 2.0 sign-up experience, but with all the benefits of Web 3.0 and blockchain.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I wonder how you guys can get so much transactions happening and have it all on chain. Like, so that doesn't cost anything in terms of being on Hive?
Nope. So you have to, there's a resource credit system. So you have to own the stake. So the game itself owns like $100,000 worth of stake. And just like we're able to rent cards, we're able to kind of like rent or delegate that stake to new players. So technically, you do have to have some crypto. There's like bare minimums that you can start with, but it doesn't get you very far. But on the back end of the program, we are delegating our stake to that new user. They never even know. It's totally invisible to them, but that allows them to play like 50 to 100 games per day. You don't need a whole ton. So that's a way that the game itself can basically take care of it. It's kind of like transaction fees, but not really, because it's this freemium model. But you can't just let everybody post infinitely on the blockchain. There has to be some limits, otherwise it's unsustainable. So this was a system that was on Hive, and this way we said, you know what, by getting some stake and letting our users take advantage of that stake, but making it invisible to them, that's really the magic, because I'd rather all of that be invisible than, look, we're going to need you to go to Coinbase, and you're going to go buy Ethereum, then you're going to take it to Bittrex, and you're going to go convert it to Hive, then you'll bring it in here. Don't forget to download Hive Keychain, which is like a MetaMask clone, and then you can start playing. Like, that's insane. You can't get mass adoption that way. So there was Hive has a problem in that the capital markets really aren't developed at all. It's a smaller chain in that sense, but there's a large community, and we're starting to see more and more projects linking their Hive community project to Ethereum, so that you kind of have this user base and a hard drive that's really good for these projects, and then you're tying it to the capital markets of Ethereum and the player base or the investor base of Ethereum. And I think that's a really it's just kind of a fun, sexy, cool matchup of a large community with free transactions tying into one of the best represented capital markets in all of crypto.
How do you tie into the Ethereum? How do you tie into the capital on Ethereum?
We have there's a small exchange that's called Hive Engine, and Hive Engine is there are tokens that are created on that. It's a layer 2 smart contract platform, and there's bridges that are being built where the tokens that are created there are turning into wrapped Ethereum tokens. And then those wrapped Ethereum tokens are getting put onto things like Uniswap. So now you have tokens from a layer 2 of the Hive blockchain getting into the capital pools of the Ethereum blockchain, with all the same kind of producer rewards and pieces like that through these wrapped tokens. So there's wrapped Leo, which is one of the first examples of that. Leo is like a community token over here on the Hive blockchain. And that Ethereum integration and pieces of that are supposed to be here in December. So that one was sort of the test one, but now all these different communities can do this. And like our dark energy crystal, our in-game currency that you're earning when you're fighting and battling, we have that as an ERC20, and that's part of a pool, so a Uniswap pool. So you can go trade the dark energy crystals that you earn in game. You send them to your Ethereum address, and you can withdraw Ethereum from the pool.
So originally, were they ERC20s, or because there's that wrapping mechanism?
No, well, we act like an oracle, so that one is an ERC20 that's native. It's not like a pegged or a wrapped currency, but we have Splinterlands acts like a trusted oracle in that we have a Tron token, we have a Hive Engine token, a Steam Engine token, an Ethereum token. We'll probably have some Wax tokens here pretty soon. Once we have the Wax tokens, we can probably do these EOS tokens pretty well. So I try to be blockchain agnostic in terms of how we get our tokens and our communities tied into as many different ecosystems as possible. I had a VC ask me, or he was telling me, you got to go dominate the market. And I was like, what does dominate the market even mean in crypto? Because it's not the same thing as like some, free to play mobile game. And to me, I was thinking dominate really means we have integrated with as many different communities and as many different projects as possible, where dark energy crystals can be spent in other games and their currencies. So like we partnered with Gala Games, which is an Ethereum Farmville. We partnered with Sandbox, and so Sand and Gala can be spent here. We partnered with Game Credits, which is one of the oldest token ecosystems around, specific for gaming. So you can spend game at Splinterlands, and we keep doing stuff like that. So you can see DAI is on there. And we just have a bunch of these. A BAT, we have a big promotion through the Brave browser and basic attention token, so you can spend your BAT here. So our goal is to be as friendly and as welcoming and make as many different partnerships as possible so that our tokens can be traded easily and our assets are, accepted for value in lots of different places and traded in all these different NFT marketplaces, which are coming alive soon. So you'll see this is kind of like a big time for us. I got about 5 more partnerships in the works. So you should be able to see a bunch of these things coming live and announcements coming soon because they're great. It's just great for the whole industry. When you get these partnerships, the ERC20 community gets like a new use case for their token, and they get to work with Splinterlands, which is oftentimes ranked the #1 game in crypto. And then for us, we get access to their whole new community and new people that might want to spend their currency to play our game. And in some cases, we get even brand new markets that folks are opening and that we want to integrate into, kind of like on OpenSea, where we act like an oracle and our cards go onto the ERC 721 contracts. We're going to do that for Wax, and I think we're going to end up working with Engine, and there's other companies and groups that are building marketplaces, and we want to integrate with all of them. So we like Hive because of this freemium thing, but we also need other capital markets and other projects, and we're really looking forward to building as many partnerships as possible.
Agro, just really quickly, I just want to let everyone know that the Zoom video is going to end, but that's fine because we're on Discord now, so you're just still going to be able to hear us. But when the Zoom video ends, Will, can you just open up a browser of Splinterlands and just share it in Discord?
Yeah, I can do that. Another question I had is, how much volume in fiat are you guys doing in percentage?
So when players want to buy credits through the game so that they can purchase cards directly from us or on the market, they have the option to pay in fiat or pay in crypto. And we convert all of that to credits, in part because it's the handshake time. If Bitcoin is 6 transactions and it takes an hour, and something else like Hive is 3 seconds, it's hard to get all those handshakes to work out. So we just convert everybody to credits. So to start, they'll buy credits. And most days when I'm looking at how people are choosing to buy credits from us directly, these days it's very heavy towards US dollars. So I think our business is pretty counter-cyclical. And actually it's kind of funny to I think I'll have a nice gauge of when the market's going to turn, because all of the players at the high, I think, will switch from buying with US dollars when crypto is high. I think they're going to spend predominantly crypto. And then when the market kind of comes back and corrects, I think they'll go back to spending dollars again. Mm-hmm. So right now we're super dollar heavy. So sales today were like $9,000 or $10,000 for the business, and I think, I don't know, maybe 8,000, 8,500 came from a US dollar purchase, and a bunch of that is for the land.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. I thought a lot of it would come from the crypto markets, because I thought like the reason why these are kind of becoming a thing like blockchain games is because a lot of the funding comes from people that have that money in crypto. But, it's good to see that it's coming from fiat.
Yeah, we have a lot of people that want to enter crypto. Again, our game is really designed to be like the first usable application that somebody that's not familiar with crypto might encounter. So you're going to go find us on this Android app. You're going to go play the game because your friend told you about it. You might not be coming in as like some crypto hound. You're just going to come in and be like, I want a game, and my friends told me this was neat. So we try to make this as easy of an onboarding process as humanly possible.
Do you want to tell us about the land pre-sale? Like maybe we can pop that up, and do you have a map, like what the land looks like and all that stuff?
We have our map. It's not public yet, but we have a full lore team here. I don't know. We actually wrote a 250-page book about lore, and we did it through a contest, and the contest winners ultimately became full-time employees. So Chris Roberts, who's in the audience, and the Carrie Allen, they're a married couple, and they're kind of the lore master and head of marketing. and collectively they're helping us to build out stories. And that map was the original is hand drawn by Chris Roberts with a story of how that land came together. None of that has been fully revealed yet, but we're zeroing in on kind of we want a couple different versions of the map before we release it. But anyways, so the first land pre-sale was November 7th, and in total there are 150 regions. So a region has 1,000 different plots in it, and each plot can basically house one building at a time. And that building can be used to harvest resources, refine resources, craft items, craft spells, manage storage, or potentially do some transportation of all those goods as well. There are some occupied plots where there might be monsters you have to fight and hunt. And then there'll be some like game-owned plots where it's either PvP or guild versus guild or boss fights that are going to be coming. And
this is away from the card, like the kind of TCG model, right? This is kind of a separate game. Like now you can have monsters and like, hunt down monsters, win points and stuff like that.
But it's a mix because it's like in your land, and when you're going to farm, in order to farm, you're going to have to put your summoners and your monsters and stake them into the land. So yes, it's a separate game, and it's designed to really appeal to the Civilization and Clash of Clans players and the sort of not real-time strategy, but like empire building game crowd. So we want them in there. And so the players will stake their summoners and monsters. So it's not completely separate. And the goal is to make the cards that you'll use in battling. So it's not completely separate, but yeah, it is a different mechanism of how you're going to use the cards and how you're going to think through, what cards should I use? Why should I use them? How long do I stake them? What benefits are going to happen? Are there weather effects, lunar effects? Like, the same way that we vary the battles every time, we want to make it so that, you don't just set your monsters once and then come back 6 months later. We want to have this be a bit of a puzzle that the players have to figure out. But so the regions are going to have either one castle, which is going to affect the governance of the entire region, or a keep, which is going to affect just 100 of the plots out of the 1,000. And then there's 14 different types of land, hills, mountains, forests, bogs, marshes, swamps, deserts. And then there's different rarities for the land. So they could be super magical or non-magical. And you can build these different buildings on them. And that's how you're going to craft these new cards. So we told this story to the players. And on November 7th, we had our first land pre-sale, where 30 out of the total 150 regions were for sale, and we sold out in 21 seconds. And a little bit of a humble brag, they crashed our server. We had so much traffic that day that we crashed. So,
how much did you raise in the primary sale?
So the first sale, I think, was $225,000 total that went through and for that sale. And so now the cards are a little bit more expensive. So this is going to be like another 250,000 or something. I don't have the math right in front of me.
So this is for the cards or for the land?
That's for the land. So the land will eventually be NFTs. So those will be cards as well. So
so those NFTs, can we trade them on, say, OpenSea and stuff? Would they be compatible with OpenSea? Would they be tradable only on Hive at the moment?
When those are released, because remember they're not released yet, but when those are released, the fungible tokens will be tradable on our small little Hive engine decks, but the non-fungibles will be tradable in the game and be portable to all the markets that we build to. So OpenSea would work. When the engine thing is live, that would work. Wax, when that goes live, that would work. So you'll be able to trade these lands. Basically, you just say what token do I want instead of this land, and then if you want Ethereum, you'll trade it there. If you want Hive, you could trade it on the Hive market. If you want Wax, you'll be able to trade it there. So you kind of just determine what currency you want. Mm-hmm. So our next land sale is happening in 3 days and 15 hours. In order to make sure that everybody gets a fair shot at land, we're doing this as a lottery. So so players right now, you can see that 9 of the 30 regions are already spoken for. Those are the guaranteed regions. Some of that's because stage 1 sold out, and anybody who was part of stage 1 that missed out got a guaranteed region in round 2. So there's up to, I think, 23 of those that can come in, and then everybody else can come in and get, regions, tracks, or just individual plots. And you can see that there's 3 regions worth, or 3,274 plots. So this is all before like the land sale even begins. These are people trying to reserve their initial spot. And last time we had something like 54 regions that people were trying to purchase, but only 30 spots. I don't think we'll get quite that high, but I think we're going to get pretty close to the 30, maybe 40 for this land presale. So I know we're a couple days early, so we're not like oversold yet. But my guess is that within 4 days, the total number of regions will be over 30. And we're going to have that lottery, and people will figure out, did they get their land or not? And if they don't, then they get pushed into the third presale. There it'll be 30% off. And then after that, it just goes to the real sale, which should be sometime in 2021. And there it'll be full price. So the full price of an individual plot will be $20. But here we're doing it 40% off. So it's only 12. And then if you buy it in bulk, there's like another 25% off or something.
So how many lands is there available? Looks like you have 30,000 for stage 2. So all up, I'm assuming 100,000.
Yeah, all up, there's 150 regions, and there's 1,000 plots per region. So there's 150,000 plots total. And that's our alpha land. That's all that's going to ever exist. That's alpha. Alpha gets certain bonuses in the game, like it'll have faster production than everywhere else. So if you end up getting like a grain card on the next continent, it won't produce grain as quickly because it's not alpha land.
Got it. How do you man, I had a question. Just totally slipped my mind as soon as I started talking. But I was going to ask, like, you're doing the land sale now. Like, how do you? I don't know how to. I totally lost the question. Totally lost the question. Will, did you have anything to ask?
Yeah, I was going to say, what I like about what you guys are doing is the whole interoperability of everything. Being able to, switch to Ethereum assets or convert, and then just sell those assets for Hive. I mean, I think that's something that, a lot of companies don't do, because they're either on one ecosystem and they stay in that ecosystem, and that's it. And so
it's kind of like a truly blockchain game, right?
Yeah.
This is how it should be.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we try to be agnostic. We like all these ecosystems. We're a peaceful, neutral vessel. We're not trying to be super. We're not trying to be super tribalistic. There's a lot of wonderful benefits to using Hive as sort of like a public hard drive and a wonderful base for a community. But we're a little weak in terms of our capital markets. Like Ethereum is literally like 6,000 times more expensive as a base token. So there's just some aspects of this that we can't ever get. So I kind of think that we have this like hidden gem ecosystem where smart NFT guys like yourselves are sort of aware, and you've heard about it for a couple of years, but haven't really messed around. All these cards that are like 73 cents. That's like how much? That's like 0.01 Ethereum to go get cards here.
Yeah.
So how would I go about doing this? Like, if I were to buy this, how much would it cost me in transaction fees? I like to own this and stuff.
Yeah, so that's another reason why we like the whole credits model. So above your mouse, there's a gold coin with a green button next to it. Keep going up.
Gold coin.
Green button for the plus. Yeah. So if you click that, so this is you got to log in to be able to see the crypto option. But if you're logged in, this is how you can purchase it. So once you kind of have your spell book and you're able to go participate here, this is where you would go. You'd choose how many credits you want, and then you'd pay with Ethereum just in one big chunk. And then once you've converted to credits, there's no transaction fees. We don't have any gas fees here. So there's a small market fee of 5% of the card, and we actually don't even keep that. We put that right back into the tournament pools. So yeah, the steps would be I can get you and your audience members, if there's people here that want a free spell book, I can go get you guys a free spell book. I can tie it to an affiliate code for you guys, so that as you hand them out, you can get some credit from the people that are buying. And then when they you would do a one-time do like an Ethereum or two, and you go for 2 Ethereum, it's $1,200, and that can get you like probably a silver level team, maybe even a gold level team, and you could just start playing.
So can you rent these out? So for example, the question I was going to ask, I suddenly remembered it, but how do you separate, like say the speculator market, who are just going in and buying cards and sitting on them because they think they're going to be rare and your game's going to blow up, to the people that are playing the game? I heard there's a rental model. Is there a rental model that you can speculate and that's fine, you're part of the ecosystem and own these cards that are really rare or whatever, really strong, but you can also rent them out to people that are playing the game and get benefit from that? Like, how is that model bridged?
So we built the protocol, but the guys that do it better than us, please go to another website, which is peakmonsters.com. Peak, P-E-A-K, monsters.com. P-E-A-K, there we go, peakmonsters.com. So this is a third-party website. This is not us. We like these guys. They're fantastic, but this is a completely separate business. So click on the market button in the top left. And so here you can see all these different card types. Let's go scroll down to the bottom where it looks like you'll get a more expensive card, and it'll make a little bit more sense if it's not just like teeny tiny pennies. So yeah, here we go. Jotun Zaku. Let's go pick that one. The red one, kind of in the middle. Yep. So view cards. So now there's different options here. I guess again, it helps if you're signed in, but if you click maybe the shopping cart on the right there.
Are these all the ones for sale on the secondary market? Is that what this is?
Yep. This is. So it's the same market. No. So the blue shopping cart.
One. Yeah.
Click that. Yep. And then click on the cart. Let's see. I don't know what you can do when you're not logged in. But yeah, you gotta be able to log in, and for that you would, there's a couple different ways you can sign in once you have your keys. But through this market, you're able to buy cards. You can put in a bid for cards, and you're able to rent cards. So normally, people are getting like a 5 or 6, anywhere from 2 to 6% per month return on their capital by renting the cards. Yeah, Crypto Reaper just put a screenshot. Maybe you can load that from the Discord room. But people are buying cards and they're renting them. If you're purely after return, like the current edition probably doesn't make sense because we can just keep printing cards. So like if the cards go up like 1,000x, they'll never get there because people will just buy new packs rather than buy overpriced cards. But once those card editions are gone, then they can't do that or we can't just sell another pack. We're out of cards. So at that point, these cards end up being pretty free. The price floats for whatever the secondary market allows. And so we kind of have that combination of like the alpha cards and the beta cards are freely floating, and those things might go up quite a bit. Whereas or down, markets work in funky ways. But those are free to float, whereas the current edition is always sort of capped by the supply of new cards. So we're like a little over halfway through the edition. I think we have like 600,000 packs left out of our starting 1.5 million. So we're a little under halfway sold out. And players are accumulating and building their decks and stacking cards, and we do have people that look at this like it's a serious, not just entertainment, but they're staking cards with hope of returns. And you can see that like we have a in our Discord there are commands for like how much are the top 10 decks worth, and you can see that to be in the top 10, you need like just shy of $40,000 worth of cards, which, for Ethereum, that's like what, 5 Ethereum or something. But, in Hive, that's like an enormous sum of Hive. So getting into, so this is part of what I think is so, just that potential for getting into the Ethereum base. I think that these cards are pretty scarce. It's a really fun game. You have all the information you need to figure out how many of these are in circulation and what's the max that'll be in circulation and how will this land be useful and making these new cards, and there's these prize pools and all of that. I think because we're still kind of undiscovered by the Ethereum community, I think that there's still some pretty amazing deals available on cards.
The Ethereum community is weird. They kind of like to stick to ETH things just because there's that belief where everything exists. It kind of, if you're on the ETH blockchain, then only you're relevant. There's just that mentality there, whether it's obviously it's not the right mindset, but
yeah, I can't blame them.
Yeah.
But go back to Splinterlands for just a moment, please. And then so you're already signed in or logged in. But if you log out, so yeah, you click your name and you choose log out, and then you click log in. There's the option here to log in with MetaMask. So again, trying to make this as much like a just trying to get away from that tribalism and support other blockchains participating here. We just want to make it as easy as possible. So you can use Wax All Access. You can use Wombat, which is an EOS thing. You can use MetaMask to sign in. And assuming that you've set this up some, there you go. You're signed in. All you did was click MetaMask and you're good.
Yep.
So I know that the transactions are taking place on the Hive blockchain, but to the user, we want it to feel like, oh, I'm just coming in from Ethereum. So, it's not a big deal.
How does that work though? Like, because you're using MetaMask that plugs into or that connects to your Ethereum wallet, but you guys aren't doing anything with Ethereum, right? So
so we're using your key pair as basically the password to get into the game.
Right. So the login details is connected to my MetaMask. Correct.
And underneath, we actually have a Hive blockchain account that we've created. That's what that recruit 12159 thing is. But that again, we try to make that transparent to somebody coming from Ethereum because they don't care. They just want to use MetaMask and do their thing. And we want to support that. So
yeah, I had to provide my email. And then once I provide the email, then I can use MetaMask to log in. So it's pretty easy.
Yeah, and that's exactly the kind of experience and feedback that we want to hear because we want there to be as little friction between the Ethereum community and our community and the Wax community, and we just want people to come here and play a sweet game. And if we can do that, then we've done our jobs.
Love it. Do you have any base stats on the user base? Like how many people are playing it? Weekly,
yeah,
daily?
So we hit for monthly active users, we hit 10,000 for the first time in September. Any day of the month, we're between 5,000 and 7,000 accounts that are playing. We're typically at about like 120,000 games played per day. We've had more than 40 million games played in total. We've done, forget the exact amount, but we're up at like almost $2 million of secondary market transactions in total.
Nice.
And so, yeah, I mean, we have, for blockchain, we think we're pretty enormous. This is quite a big app for blockchain. And then I'm part of the Ubisoft accelerator, and I'll talk to them, and I'm like, hey guys, what's the minimum size of a game before you care? And they're like, a game really needs 50,000 monthly active users. So we got to stay humble because we're not even on like the radar of like a AAA studio. So we're still small, but for blockchain, we have one of the biggest DApp audiences out of just about anybody.
For sure. No, I've definitely learned a lot being here and looking at this. It's opened my eyes to kind of look beyond Ethereum, which I am guilty of sticking on. But a lot of respect for you and your community, to be honest.
Well, they're phenomenal. I mean, one of the proudest parts of all of this is, we all go to the same moon, and I really feel like the community gets that. And I have never been afraid to just tell people, come join our Discord. We're at discord.splinterlands.com. Come meet the guys. Come hang out. This is like the best crew of people I could ask for. They're really hard on us. They demand a lot. They can be frustrating, but especially in terms of like new players, they are welcoming, thoughtful, kind. They root out scammers. Like I couldn't ask for a better crew of men and women, and just a great group of people. I'm so proud of our community, and I'm very, very grateful to them.
Yeah, this is exciting, man. I think the ability to earn, I think that's the next wave that people are going to be experiencing in gaming. So this is like top of the mind, like in terms of where people are going to be spending their time. And so yeah, you guys are doing an awesome job.
Well, I think it's a one-way valve. Like once a player has been in here and they've like bought 500, what they really do is they spend like $50 on day one, and then they earn a couple cards and they buy a little thing here and there, and like a couple months later they're like, holy crap, I own $1,000 worth of cards.
Yeah.
And they're kind of shocked about it. That's not what anybody really intended to do, but they want to get more powerful. They want to get higher rank. They want to earn these rewards more. And then the idea of like them going back and playing some other game, they still do it, but I don't know how I don't think that they're spending as much money in other games anymore, because it's like, why would I spend there? I'm just throwing away money. So some people do, and that entertainment is worth it to them. But a lot of our guys are really focused on, how do I earn as much money? How do I build a really efficient deck to make sure that my monthly income from battling is X, and I get this much from my tournament winnings and this much from my rewards cards and season rewards. And they're really return focused, or they're trying to earn as much as possible. Those guys are never going to go back to like a regular,
Just a regular game.
Yeah, like a Web 2.0 game.
Yeah.
Like how am I ever going to go back and in good faith spend $300 on Hearthstone when I know it's lost? Whereas here I know, okay, well, if I ever get tired of the game, I just sell off all the assets, and maybe they appreciate, maybe they don't, but basically all the fun was a free roll, and I could just and maybe there's some good extra value here.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think if you can make an income playing this game, people are gonna continue playing, and that's the best part.
I think it's income. It's also just the fact that when you buy something, you're getting something that you can actually sell back on the marketplace.
Yeah.
So whether it's income or not, it's kind of not sunk money. Because when you buy, say, Hearthstone games and all that, or items, it is sunk money. You don't get any of that back in any way. I don't even think you can legally sell it on the secondary market, like sell your account and all that. I'm pretty sure there's ban hammers and stuff.
They ban you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, right? In these traditional games, selling your items, it usually warrants a ban, but here it's encouraged when it comes to blockchain games, which is cool.
So, yeah, I think it's going to be really hard for folks to go back. So that's one of the, I didn't expect that with crypto gaming. That wasn't like one of my first thoughts that I had. But after like a year and just watching myself of like, yeah, I'll never spend money on a game again that's not crypto.
Yeah.
I think that this is the kind of one-way valve that is really good for the crypto ecosystem, in that, the gamers are actually, like, one of the things that we realized is that the nerd who likes Magic the Gathering and the nerd who likes crypto is the same nerd. That's the same. It's the same person. And so when we get these gamers converted and they get into crypto, like that transition is the easiest that I've seen to go from normie into crypto hound. And once they're here, they don't go back. So as we think about how do we take over the world to go make crypto mainstream, not just our game, but get crypto mainstream. How do we get more people in all of these blockchain ecosystems? Because we're blockchain agnostic and we want to be everywhere. We just think that this game has so much potential to be fun, bring a new player in, have them learn about crypto, and never leave. You come for a fun game experience, and then you stay for the life-changing crypto experience.
So who's your scale demographic? Is it the people with crypto, or is it people that are game players that don't know anything about blockchain?
Well,
And then you just adding that extra component that, hey, you can sell your cards and buy and sell your cards.
As we're going, so our most core user base are the folks that, like in our Discord, there's people that love crypto, and when you ask, you can't like throw a rock in the Discord without hitting somebody that said, I was on the Magic Pro Tour. So our core audience are the people that love Magic and Hearthstone and Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And they love crypto. And every time that we look to expand beyond that, we're moving further away from that core, either people that become less familiar with crypto or people that become less familiar with trading card games and then with gaming as a whole. So as we branch out more, that's kind of our challenge, and that's why we build these tutorials and things. But that's how we know we have to grow, and as we grow, we're going to move away from those that love both our core aspects of gaming and crypto.
Awesome. I think we've gone on for an hour and a half. I don't know if we should add some community members or maybe just end it there. What do you guys think, Will? Iman?
No, I think we're good. I think this provides us a lot of information. We're going to be doing a lot more playing, that's for sure, just because this is something that I think anyone in the community can learn off of like creating an economy and then creating a gameplay that's like sustainable in the sense that you have a bunch of players coming in and sticking around. So like I said, you guys are doing a great job, and this is like something that we strive to achieve in everything that we do as well. So yeah, let's stay in touch, and we definitely want to have you back on to kind of talk about what comes up with the land sales, how are things doing, what changes do you guys think need to make depending on like how well it goes, and all that good stuff, man. So I appreciate you coming on, man.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. I know you guys are super influential, and I'm honored and humbled that you guys like our game, and I'm thankful for so many community members showing up today. Thank you for being here and representing us well. I just this stream of feedback is not filled with just terrible comments. It's thoughtful, critical, good, well-spoken people, and I appreciate that. What I'd like to do is give you. Maddie, I'm going to send you outside of this a DM with a whole bunch of access to Splinterlands, like free access for the guys that are here. And that way, and especially if you can give me a username that can all be tied to this to an account so that it can earn every time that new players come in from your end. But I want to try to get your community to come play and experience all the reasons why our guys love this game. I think you guys will too, and I want to make that as frictionless as possible.
Yeah, sweet, man. Look, I'm open for anything. If anything helps the community, I think we might even start during the week, and I'll speak to Iman and Will about this, but something, not just reviewing projects, but having like gameplay episodes where maybe people can come in and display the game that they're playing and not just talk about it, but actually play the game and show us what's going on. So I'll work with you on aggro in terms of what else we can do. And yeah, happy to share that link and all that stuff.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, and thanks for having us, and thanks for talking about our game, and thanks for exploring the game, and thanks for such a long evening tonight. And I'm grateful to you guys, grateful to our community, and just really looking forward to this land sale. And if you guys like that concept of owning land, I welcome you to join this lottery and participate and tell the folks about how cool it can be to own land in Splinterlands.
Awesome, dude. Appreciate it.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, everyone, for coming down. We will announce the next project we'll be reviewing. But again, Agro, the founder, Splinterlands community, whoever came in and taught us about the game and all that, thanks for coming in. I'm sure my goal is to kind of build bridges, right? Like I don't invest and then kind of talk about just my investments. I like to build the space, and it looks like if you guys are doing good things, then everyone needs to know about it. So welcome. Hopefully we can do you good. So we'll connect again, and thanks for coming down.